That's not a good sign. Pull the wheel off. This is what I got. So this one may require a rebuild on this one. 2 errors in one wheel. So I'm gonna go ahead and tear this side apart. Okay, I finally got this thing on the road, and it's been running for a while. Still doing some minor tweaks on the tuning. It's still running a little bit rich, but I'm enjoying it. Now that I'm actually getting some road time on it, it's starting to notice some other things. Specifically, I want to check out my brakes. So I am still running the stock brake setup, disc brakes up front and drums in the rear, but the brakes I think need a little attention. I haven't fully inspected these brakes since I've been driving it. They stopped the vehicle when I got to driving it around, so I never really paid much attention, and it's fine. I mean, nothing dangerous for sure, but I just need to notice I got some brake dust going right here, so I just want to check the pad thickness here. And I actually, on the drums in the back, I need to pull them apart. I can hear something scratching in the back, so I'm thinking the drums are rubbing. So I'm gonna have to drive these front tires up on these boards. One thing about this vehicle is it sits very low. I mean, there, it just rubbed. The front lip rubbed right there. There, it's hitting. So I want to get some blocks up underneath it, drive it up on these little 1-bys, just to get to, all I need is 2 inches. I get 2 inches up. I mean, I can make it work. I've done it many times like this, but if there's not a need to, then I'm not going to. So, well, front passenger side looks good. I mean, I got plenty of pad there. I mean, on both sides. The rotors themselves are very smooth. I mean, there's no gouging in it, so everything moves nice and smooth. Got just enough pressure on it. So I'm gonna call this side good. I mean, everything looks stock, obviously. Still, hoses, stock hoses, calipers, everything looks good. All right, driver's side, a little suspect, and the reason I say that is I should have paid attention on the other side, but you look at the wall thickness here, looks a little bit thinner than that one. I don't know if that's something to be concerned with. There is a little bit wear pattern here. You can feel some grooves. The back side is totally smooth on the back side. The pads are almost identical thickness. I mean, it still looks good on both sides. Just the way that this outer lip is thinner than the inner one made me a little suspect. The only thing I could think of is maybe this is not totally floating, meaning it might be bound up. This is all still stock, so I don't know, maybe something's bound up and the only real pressure is on this shoe on this side, or this pad pushing against that disc surface, so it's only wearing on the outside. I don't see anything too alarming, not yet. We'll keep an eye on it, and at least now I know what we got going on over here. Next time I pull it apart, I can tell if it's getting worse or not. Alright, finally got this rear drum off. I fought with it for a while, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually had to get on the internet. Anyways, I could get this drum just barely pulled off, maybe a 1/4 inch, and then kind of hang up. Guy on the internet showed me this little adjuster, star adjuster right here. this is what constantly self tensions your drums or your pads to your drum. So what you have to do is take the tension off of this little star with this little star, and you access this through the back. There's a there's a hole in the back here. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there's this little access hole right here, and you gotta use a screwdriver. Can you see it? So you go through this little peak window right here on the back. There's two of them. The other one's blocked off. But this one right here, you can stick a screwdriver. I don't know if you see it on this camera or not, but there's a... I don't know if you can see it on this camera, but there's a little star wheel. There's my... I don't know if you can see my thumb, but right behind my thumb is that star wheel. You have to adjust that, meaning you have to turn it. So there's that little star wheel, and you're trying to, from this direction, unscrew it, which takes tension off. So it'll actually shorten this adjuster up, allowing these the pads to come in, and you can slide the drum off. So that was, like I said, this is the first time I've tore into it. I knew about this and I've seen it before. This is the first time I had a GoPro failure. But long story short, adjust this star, this little star from the inside, brings in that adjuster, moves your pads in so you can slide your drum off the pads. Just based on the inspection of my pads when I originally was in here, everything is filthy. It is pretty gnarly. Not that I really care about that. As far as the pads go, I think I've got good good thickness on it. They don't appear to be damaged or any sort of cracking or anything like that on it. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit, and I'm gonna slap everything back together, and I'll take a look at the other side. Hopefully now it'll come off easier than this side, now that I know how to do it. That's not a good sign. Pull the wheel off. This is what I got. So this one may require a rebuild on this one. Alright, so I mean, everything still looks good in here other than it all being wet with brake fluid. You can see a nice sheen right here. It's not bad, other than the fact that everything's wet. Take a look around. I mean, as far as being nasty, it's just as nasty as the other one. Whatever that little cylinder is, obviously it's got a small seal leak on it. You can see it running down the sides here. Bottom of this these pads. So I guess tomorrow when I get off work, I'll swing by and see if I can see if they have a, I'm sure they got a rebuild kit. These pads do look thinner, so I'll go ahead and replace them, and that means I might as well replace the ones on the other side as well. So I'll tear that one back apart again. Alright, well, we'll get back together when we get some parts, and I'll show you what kind of a mess this is. I know them springs are a pain in the ass. Alright, so I got my parts. Next step in my little brake rebuild job is I'm gonna have to take some good pictures of how this thing looked before I tore it apart. I'll probably actually pull my phone out and take some pictures, but this is also a future reference for any of y'all. I did not get that special tool that's meant to pull these springs apart, so we'll see how many of these I'll launch across the garage. Always check your packages. Freaking, I don't even know what. I got the friggin' disc pads. Let me phrase that. They gave me the disc pads, not the friggin' drum pads. I did verify the. I verified these before I left the parts store, but I do have the little wheel cylinders, but yeah, crap. That means I gotta drive back to town. Alright, you saw me fighting this damn wheel cylinder. I had a new one here to kind of go off of, so I knew it was this and this. This little ring acted as a keeper. So I knew somehow this ring was on there. I just didn't know how to get this ring off, so I was like, well, obviously it's just a friction fit right here. I figure I pry it hard enough, it'll slide out. I was just worried about these little tabs, these teeth grabbing on and just snagging on it. Well, after beating, you saw me beating and banging on it for a while, you get to looking in here. I don't know if you can pick it up. There's a little recess right here. So evidently, these teeth actually, these little tabs pop in, and I'm not going to do it, but evidently they pop in and snag in that recess. I'm like, well, how in the blue blazes are you supposed to get that thing out of there? I got to just eyeballing it some more, and you see these little cutouts right here. So all I did was take my little pick here. Just remember, this thing is way down in here, this tab, and all I did was stick my pick in there like that. And the further and further the more I drove that pick in there, I would pry it. I'd keep prying it like that, and they would drive that tab out. And just the natural spring of this tab and this clip popped it one side up out here, and I just had to do the other way. Just keep on prying it like that, and that tab would pop out and pop up, and then this thing almost fell right out. So that's that. I ended up ripping this seal off, trying to pull this thing apart, but you see this right here is probably from me prying on it as well, but there was a seal leak in here anyways. So next is I'll install it. I'm going to do the other side as well. And then as far as bleeding these things off, I'm guessing, I don't know how you're supposed to get a little nut wrench or something on that. I'm guessing you're going to have to, I guess I'm going to have to get put a socket in there. Might be able to see better here. Might be able to get a socket in there, but there ain't no way to put a hose or anything on there, so I don't know how you're going to vent it into a clean environment. Or I guess you're just, heck, I don't know. I guess you're just going to fill up your little socket as you vent air out and get some brake fluid out as well. Yep, I actually had it in stock. Yep, that should work. So I go ahead and pull this little pin and bracket off of this arm right here, and a little E-clip. We'll go ahead and swap it over and put it on this one. And swap it over to this one. So let me bust the drill out and at least ream that hole out a little bit. Something else I also noticed about these new pads, not a bad thing, but look how much more pad you get on these new ones versus these old ones right here, or the originals. So that's a good thing. So alright, let me drill this out. Alright, so I got this one put together. Started putting together the driver's side and came across a little something. You remember me talking about these pads being full length here? Kind of an upgrade versus the old ones, instead of it pads only being down to here. Well, these are the ones I'm pulling off of the driver's side. Full length. Full length. The other two pads I have in that box, brand new pads. Short. So, evidently, you get one long pad and one short pad per wheel. Which pad goes on which side, I don't know. Is it really worth it? I don't know. I guess I need to Google and see which the back half or the front half of these pads are the full length pad and the front half gets the short pad. I don't know. Let me Google. YouTuber Eric the Car Guy says that the two pads, you got the long shoe or the full pad, then you have a short shoe, which both of these are actually longs. But it says the long shoe, excuse me, he said the short shoe should go up forward in towards the front of the vehicle, which is not the side with the e-brake. So that's good. I ain't got to tear that part apart. I'm not going to lie to you. If I had to tear this thing all the way down, the driver's side would have had two short pads. But since it's this side, which is appears to be the relatively easy side to change. I'll go ahead and change it. I'll put the short shoe on the forward side of this drum brake. And actually, I'm kind of glad that I looked in referencing this, because if you look, I missed that spring. That spring did not get attached to my little whatever clip that is, and that's the part that goes to my star adjustment. So I have no idea what would have happened, but it's not right anyways. So 2 errors in one wheel. So I'm gonna go ahead and tear this side apart, and I'll get that spring attached as well. All right, so it's been a couple weeks since I rebuilt the brakes. To be honest, I haven't noticed any difference. The only difference is I know for a fact that now I don't have oil on my drums here, so I've got to be doing a little bit better job. But just driving around, I haven't noticed any difference. Maybe it's because it is just drum brakes. I kind of got a little bit ahead of myself and kind of irritated with myself why I went ahead and redid all these brakes, because I mean, as soon as I got done rebuilding these rear drums, I was immediately online looking for a brake upgrade, you know, going from drums to a disc. So same with up front, you know. And I got thinking, I'm like, why did I even go through all this time, effort, and hassle of rebuilding these drums if I'm just going to upgrade to discs? Well, I always knew that eventually I'm going to go to disc brakes, but bigger and better disc brakes. But at least now I know what I got is functional, better performance than what I had before. So, well, whatever. But right now, that's where I'm at. I still want to upgrade. Before I do any upgrades, I'd like to upgrade these fronts to a bigger brake kit. Like I said, I barely notice any issues, so I mean, ignorance is bliss. I might be missing out a whole lot, but what I don't know won't hurt me. So we're gonna go with that for a little bit, and I'll start saving up and seeing what we got. Start saving up and see what I can get next, which I've already got some goodies. Some of them for the truck, and some of them are for the Camaro here, so that'll be next. All right, later.